Pimps, players, bros and hoes. Your boy Myke C-Town here. Number, fuck, I don't even know. In this vinyl shit. Sorry it's been so long. Been kind of busy, but hey, let's jump into it, man. Let's talk about some motherfucking records. So last time we ended on Suicidal Tendencies, and this week we're picking up with this gem. This is the Super Blues Band. This is Howling Wolf, Muddy Waters, and Bo Diddley, which is kind of seen as, you know, a super group of its time. Recorded in 1967. I don't know a lot about blues, but I actually enjoy this record, although it's a little happier for my taste. I prefer that Down in the Dumps, my girl left me, my truck broke down, my fucking mom died, my goddamn foot got diabetes. I like that kind of blues, and this isn't quite that, but it's still a cool release. Now we're gonna talk about one of my favorite bands here. That would be Swans, and this is Filth. This is their debut album. Super experimental, disgusting noise. You know, this is real, true industrial music. You know, this is one of the most terrifying records you'll ever hear, I think. Just sounds like shit just being banged, all kinds of crazy ass gross noise going on in the background, and Gerard's just crazy ass chants and moans. There's nothing especially cool about this particular bootleg. There's no insert, there's no fancy vinyl. It's just, you know, the cover and the record, but it's still, you know, it's still a cool thing to have. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Swans Burning World. This was the first Swans record I actually gave a shot. I heard all the noise stuff later, and it's still, to this day, my favorite Swans record. Of course, it's a lot more accessible than their other records. It's still unbelievably fucking dark and amazing. I had never heard anything like this prior to this album. You know, it's got some of my favorite songs on it. She's a universal emptiness, and the last mistake we've made. Saved. Jane Mary. Cry one tear for me, Jane Mary. And of course, Goddamn the Sun is probably up there with like my top 5 favorite Swan songs. Just the lyrics are amazing. The progression of Gerard's narrative is just amazing. But yeah, this is actually in pretty shitty condition. I actually got this at an antique store of all places for, fuck, I think it was maybe $6. But I mean, you know, I don't think you can really find this record in amazing condition nowadays for a reasonable price. But you know, the insert is still intact, and the record is perfectly clean. You know, you can't see on the camera, but yeah, fantastic fucking album, man. I wouldn't necessarily call this a Swans tattoo, but they did influence one of my pieces on my arm. I'll show you. I don't know if you can really see that, but the cover of the album with this particular flower was a definite inspiration for this part of my little sissified flower half sleeve that I have. So yeah, Swans, bye. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Swans, My Father Will Guide Me Up Like a Rope to Heaven. This was their return album. It's great, but it's not really a Swans record to me. It just sounds like a slightly harder, a little bit noisier Angels of Light album, which I'm thinking that anyone that's heard this record that's a Swans fan will tell you the exact same thing. You know, with the exception of Eden's Prison, which they still play live, actually, it doesn't really have that Swans edge, but it's still a fantastic album. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Swordmaster, Wrath of Time. This was their EP, came out in the mid-90s sometime. Swordmaster was a Swedish blackened death metal band, which that was before that was really a term. I think back then it was just considered black metal, as you can see by the images of them on the back. But this was before dissection was like, you know, the pinnacle of that particular sound. These guys were around. It's a pretty rad record, nothing to write home about, but you know, I enjoy it. You know, it's a pretty standard black and death metal album, so whatever. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Tangerine Dream, Phaedra. This is the only Tangerine Dream release I own on vinyl, unfortunately. I've been working on replacing a lot of my CDs with records for stuff like this, you know, because to me it sounds better on vinyl. But yeah, this is a great album, total ambient bliss. You know, you feel like you're floating on a cloud listening to this album. It's a definite for fans of really good ambient music. Like you know, Brian Eno or maybe Kraftwerk, some of their weird, more ambient-ish tracks. Actually, this actually reminds me a lot of later Coil work, or more so, later Coil work reminds me of this. But yeah, this is a great place to start with Tangerine Dream, I think. I don't think they get the praise that they deserve for what they did. But yeah, this is a old record, kind of beat up. The actual vinyl itself is perfectly fine, but you know, the cover is not in amazing condition. But you know, gatefold, nothing super cool on the inside, but it's still, you know, it's a cool thing to have. It's a great fucking record, so if you can, definitely pick this up. Next record I'm going to show you, this is the Tiergarten. This was their self-titled release. This is the first release by Tiergarten. For those of you that don't know who Tiergarten is, Tiergarten was Ed Ka-Spel from Legendary Pink Dots and Kevin Key from Skinny Puppy. I honestly think this was a match made in heaven. You know, basically this is just really psychedelic electronic music, and it's just super well done. It kind of sounds like a spacey Skinny Puppy with Ed Ka-Spel singing, if you can imagine that. But yeah, it's really, really, really cool. If you can find this, yeah, give it a shot, man. If you're a fan of Skinny Puppy or the Pink Dots, I think you'll dig it. More so if you're a fan of Pink Dots. Next record I'm going to show you, this is the Tiergarten, Tired Eyes Slowly Burning. This was their first actual full-length album. The other one I showed you was an EP. This is pretty cool. A bit harder edged than their EP. Really good songs, more fleshed out, more thought out, a more complete listen, in my opinion. So if you're going to start with Tiergarten releases, I think you should get this one over the EP. But I think this is fantastic. And they had some more releases after this. After Skinny Puppy broke up, they kind of made it... God damn it. Sorry. After Skinny Puppy broke up, they kind of made it into a full band. So, yeah, give this a shot, man. Next record I'm going to show you, this is the self-titled release from Tex and the Horseheads. I wasn't familiar with this band until relatively recently. They were one of the first bands to incorporate like country and western sounds into punk rock. What was interesting about these guys, they also had that like goth aesthetic. You know, they were in the same circle as bands like Christian Death and 45 Grave and stuff like that, but they weren't playing that kind of music. They were playing this really interesting mix of like country, punk, and like death rock. It was really, really, really cool. You know, if you're a fan of stuff like X or Gun Club, or you know, even like some of the Cramp stuff, I think you should give this record a listen. I think it's fantastic. Ooh, baby, why did you play that guitar so good? Next record I'm going to show you, this is the 3 Studies for a Crucifixion Coleman split LP. I had this years ago, and I'm not sure what happened to it. I don't know if someone stole it, or I sold it, or it just, I don't know. But I ended up rebuying this last time I was in Florida. When I was hanging out with Austin from 3 Creation, I picked this up again. But yeah, this is a fantastic album. 3 Studies for Crucifixion, they were like noisy, chaotic, power violence-ish hardcore. They had those great jihad or like groundwork-ish breakdowns, like heavy parts with like super fast grindish parts. But yeah, fantastic band, and great musicianship, by the way. Coleman on the other hand, another noisy, chaotic hardcore band. Not so much grindy, but just more just crazy and chaotic. Mostly known for having a girl singer, which isn't that big of a deal nowadays. But when you think about like the mid '90s and this kind of music, that was like a huge deal. What, some girl is screaming like that? Shit was tight back then, bruh. Shit was tight. Nowadays, girls scream all fucking day. You got goddamn L7, you got fucking Kitty. But back then, shit was crazy. I never saw her live either, but one of my friends told me that when she used to play live, she'd take the fucking microphone and scrape the front of her fucking head till it was bleeding and just start going fucking bananas. My kind of chick. But yeah, these guys were more emo-ish power violence, but still good. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Thor Unchained. This was another record that I got from the heavy metal bin that I'm always talking about, that I got like Raven and all those other weird heavy metal records from. But yeah, this is just classic old school fucking heavy metal. Pretty entertaining. Lightning strikes again. I don't think it's exceptionally good. It's more funny than anything for me. There's definitely some good playing on here, but I mean, I don't think the songs are fucking fantastic or anything, but the vinyl is actually really sought after because I know they repressed this on CD, and apparently for some reason they re-recorded the leads on the CD and totally fucked them up. I haven't heard this for myself. I've read this online, and I never really cared that much to research it because I don't really listen to this album that much, and I don't care to go buy the CD. But yeah, if you like cheesy old school heavy metal, then you should get this. I mean, it's pretty much worth it for that back cover because it's fucking awesome. Like, that dude looks like, what's his name? Tim Curry. Is that the guy from Rocky Horror? And my girl Pantera with them backup vocals. Booby's about to just bust out the shirt. Like that. Like that. Heavy metal hoes, bruh. It don't get no better, you know what I'm saying? Getting down to Metallica 1, all up in the bedroom. Shit's tight. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Throbbing Gristle, first annual report. I love Throbbing Gristle, for those of you that don't know. I kind of got into them a little bit later than some. But yeah, I fucking love this group. What was so great about Throbbing Gristle is you really couldn't tell if they were like one of the scariest bands on earth or if they were just one of like the silliest, you know. What these guys were actually trying to accomplish is kind of up for debate, you know. I take it as punks who just couldn't push punk any further at the time than it was, so they just went completely off the fucking grid and just started making the craziest music they could possibly make. You know, I'm sure most of you guys know, but they were like, them and Cabaret Voltaire, they were like one of the first groups to really coin the term industrial music. They may have been the first. But yeah, this was recorded live from a concert. People complain about the sound quality, but man, I don't know. You must not really be industrial music fans because, I mean, the sound quality does suck, but I can't see how if they made the sound quality clearer, that would really make this any more accessible or easier to listen to. It sounds like just a bunch of improvised crazy noise with, you know, some odd-ass story that Genesis is telling about meeting somebody and inviting him back to his house to drink some German wine. You know, the other songs are pretty much standard TG material. Dirty noise, a whole bunch of really interesting fuzz. You know, I think it's a fantastic album. So, you know, if you like industrial, if you like noise, don't listen to motherfuckers that talk about, oh, sound quality sucks. Go fucking pick this up, man. It's a good record, and the poor sound quality, it makes no fucking difference. It really doesn't. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Throbbing Gristle, second annual report. You know, even though this is the second annual report, this was actually their first official release. The first annual report, I think, wasn't released until like 1999 or maybe 2000 or something like that. But this goes up and down as far as sound quality goes. You know, some of it was recorded on fucking cassette tape. Some of it was recorded in the studio, but nothing is exceptionally clear. It's all pretty nasty sounding. But again, I think that adds to the sound of Throbbing Gristle. It's still scary, weird, crazy noise. I think it's really cool. This is a repress, of course. Comes with this really awesome booklet. But by the way, fucking Cozy Fanny Tootie that was one fine fucking woman, man. Look at that shit. She was fine as shit. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Which, come to think of it, I've never seen one of her porns. Not really into porn like that, but one of these days I should actually get around to watching one of her porns. If anybody can recommend a good porn by Cozy Fanny Tootie, let your boy know. But yeah, really cool booklet. Awesome pictures inside. But yeah, fucking fantastic release. Next record I'm going to show you, this is Throbbing Gristle, Once Upon a Time. This was a live concert from 1981. If I remember correctly, it was Throbbing Gristle, Cabaret Voltaire, Boyd Rice, some other groups I don't really remember. But again, people complain about the poor sound quality, which I think is fucking stupid. I think this sounds great. It's a gross, crazy noise record. It doesn't need to sound clear and crystal clear and pristine, all that bullshit. Yeah, it's a bunch of really interesting electronic beats with your standard Throbbing Gristle fuzz and noise in the background, and just Genesis with his crazy ass fucking moans and groans and howling and all that shit. But yeah, this is a fucking awesome record. I don't think this is very hard to find, and it was re-released as something else. I forget the name of what they re-released this as, but either way, if you can find this, you should definitely pick it up. It's fucking fantastic. Last record I'm going to show you in this edition of the vinyl shit. This is big white record, but it's Throbbing Gristle's The Final Report / Desertshore. Apparently this was Throbbing Gristle without Genesis P-Orridge. I'm not sure why Genesis P-Orridge wasn't on this or why he left the group, but this was the final official recording. But it's actually, Sleazy, Cozy Fanny Tootie, and Chris without Genesis P-Orridge. But yeah, the first record of this is called Desertshore, which is a cover of Nico's Desertshore, which is a fantastic record by itself. But their cover of this, fucking mind-blowing. They have all kinds of different vocalists from Anthony and Johnson's fucking Gasper No is on this. Sasha Grey is on this. Mark Almond is on this. It's fucking amazing. And the way they reinterpreted the songs is just fucking incredible. Like, I really think you should listen to this. Unfortunately, Sleazy died before completing this album, so Chris and Cozy decided to finish it as kind of a tribute, and a fucking amazing tribute it is. So yeah, this was one of the best records to come out in 2012. So yeah, it's definitely their most listenable release, but it's not short of fucking incredible. Especially if you're a fan of Coil. Like, if you liked Coil's later stuff, I really think if you listen to this, you'll come in your jeans, reach in there with your hand, pull it out, stick it back into your dick hole, and come again. It's that fucking good. The Final Report, which is literally the final recording of Throbbing Gristle. Jesus. Fucking incredible. It definitely sounds like the perfect mixture of Coil and Throbbing Gristle. You have these intense soundscapes with lots of tension, super layered, super detailed, not really noisy. Again, they toned back on the noise by this point, so it's a more listenable album, but still, the soundscapes and the layers, they're just fucking incredible. There's a song on here called Gordian Knot. Sounds like something that Current 93 would have done on the Faust recording session, or even some of like Nurse with Wounds work. Sounds like that, but it's beautiful. It's a gatefold album, but I can't say that it's really that cool because, I mean, it's all just white. You can't really see. There's like writing, but you really can't see it. It's still an awesome thing to own, and it's one of my favorite Throbbing Gristle releases, even though it's called XTG, which I guess X Throbbing Gristle, but it's still fucking Throbbing Gristle, whatever. I wish Genesis P-Orridge could have been on this. It would have made it that much better, but, it's an awesome record. Comes with this nice book with my baby Sasha Grey as well as pictures of like Anthony and Mark Almond and everybody else that was on this release. But yeah, once again, rest in peace, Sleazy. We love you, man. So that's it for this edition of the Vinyl Shit. As usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and hopefully I'll see you a lot sooner than 2 weeks or whatever it took me to get this shit out. Alright? As usual, you know how we do in these motherfucking streets, bruh. Peace, bitches. Mariah Carey on you hoes, bruh.